When you think about Elon Musk, you see electric cars, rockets, social media, AI. It all seems kind of random, right? But what if it's not? What if it's all part of one single massive blueprint? We've dug into a recent conversation with him to pull out the one core idea that connects everything. So let's jump right in and deconstruct it. And it all starts right here with this one big question. For Musk, this isn't just some philosophical thing you ponder late at night. No, this is the engine. It's what's driving every single one of his billion-dollar companies and, his craziest moonshot ideas. If you really want to get his grand plan, you have to start with his answer to this question. All right, so how does he answer what is maybe the oldest question in human history? Well, it boils down to one single mission, and it's surprisingly simple, but it shapes his entire view of the world. And there it is. That's the why. The whole point, for him, is to expand the scope and scale of consciousness. See, it's not about finding the one answer to everything. The real goal is to make us, as a species, smart enough to start asking better, deeper questions about the universe itself. And if that sounds a little familiar, it's because it's inspired by the sci-fi classic, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You probably know the story. A giant supercomputer calculates the answer to life, the universe, and everything, and it comes up with 42. The only problem? No one knew what the actual question was. And that's exactly how Musk sees our reality. He thinks the universe is the answer. Our job is to get conscious enough to figure out the right questions. Okay, so you have this really abstract philosophy. How do you turn that into something real? A concrete goal? How do you actually expand consciousness on a global scale? Well, Musk's answer is simple. You connect it. And that, right there, is where his whole vision for Platform X comes into play. Take a look at this number, 30 trillion. That's a huge number, right? Well, that's roughly how many cells are in a single human body. And this idea is absolutely key to an analogy Musk uses to explain, well, pretty much everything he's trying to do. Think about it. A single cell is pretty basic, but you get 30 trillion of them working together, and boom, you have something totally new and different, a conscious human being. Musk sees all of humanity in the exact same way. One person can't just go out and build a spaceship, but a connected human collective, we can. And for him, making that connection better, faster, and smarter is the whole game. And this really gets to the core of why he sees X as something much bigger than just another social media app. He sees it as a tool for building that collective consciousness. He's always contrasting his vision of a global town square with what he calls the dopamine-generating streams of other platforms, which, in his words, can lead to brain rot. His whole goal is to connect the thinkers, the writers, the builders, to level up our collective intelligence as a species. All right, so we've covered connecting humanity in the digital world, but Musk's plan goes way beyond that, into the physical world. And this is where we start to see how his other big companies, Tesla, SpaceX, all start to converge on one single and, honestly, incredibly audacious goal. This is where it all starts to click. See, Tesla isn't really just a car company, and SpaceX isn't just a rocket company. In Musk's mind, they're all developing critical pieces of a much, much bigger puzzle. Each one is mastering a technology that will eventually link up with the others. So let's break down how the pieces fit together. Step 1, Tesla is out there perfecting AI in the real world with self-driving cars and also figuring out solar power and batteries. Step 2, SpaceX has mastered reusable rockets and is building this massive satellite network with Starlink. Step 3, X.AI is focused on the core AI logic itself. You put all that together, the end game is the ability to create solar-powered AI satellites. And he thinks that technology is absolutely essential for our long-term survival and expansion. Now, when you have all these powerful technologies coming together, the impact on society is going to be, well, massive. Musk predicts a future that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi novel. A future where our whole concept of work gets completely turned on its head. I mean, listen to this prediction. He thinks that in less than 20 years, working will be optional. That's a pretty wild claim, right? But his logic is that AI and robotics are going to create such a huge boom in productivity that human labor just won't be necessary for survival anymore. Work will become something you do because you want to, like a hobby. He's describing a really radical shift here. We go from today, where work is a necessity for almost everyone, to a future, less than 20 years away, where it's a choice. And all of this is building towards what futurists call the singularity. That's the moment when AI growth becomes so rapid and unstoppable that it fundamentally changes human civilization in ways we literally can't even imagine yet. So, if you don't need a job to survive, what replaces a paycheck? Well, Musk talks about something he calls universal high income, or UHI, and this is different from universal basic income. It's not just about getting by. He's talking about a future of true abundance, where AI and robotics can create pretty much any goods or services you want on demand. Basically, if you want something, you can have it. Okay, so after laying out this absolutely epic, world-changing vision, what's his advice for the rest of us, for the people out there actually trying to build things today? Well, he brings it all back down to earth with a few really simple, practical principles. And his advice is super direct, which is kind of refreshing. He says, stop chasing money. Instead, just focus on making products and services that are actually useful. Try to be a net contributor to society. For him, money is just a consequence. It's a byproduct of creating real value. And of course, he's quick to point out that it's going to require you to grind super, super hard. But if you're going to remember just one thing from all his advice, it should be this. It's like his simple compass for everything, both morally and economically. Aim to make more than you take. Strive to be a net positive. That's really the core principle behind his entire blueprint, whether he's building a company or trying to map out the future of humanity. So when you look at the whole picture, Musk's blueprint isn't just a plan for his companies. It's really a call to action for everyone. It's a framework for thinking bigger about what's actually possible. So the final question isn't really for him, it's for you, it's for all of us. In a world that's changing this fast, what are you going to build to expand our future?